There is a baby, just a few weeks old, and it is quietly starving. Born too early, it can keep down no food at all. Not its mother's milk, not anything else that is tried. The doctors have run out of ideas, and nobody expects the child to live through the week. In a small Swiss town, a local chemist has been tinkering with a strange powder of his own. As a last, desperate resort, it is fed to the dying infant, and the baby keeps it down, and the baby lives. From that single rescue would grow the largest food company on the face of the earth. This is the story of Nestle. Here is the pattern worth learning. Call it saving one life first. A giant is almost never built by chasing after some vast and faceless market. It is built by solving one urgent, specific, impossible feeling problem for one real and particular person completely. Do that one thing well enough and something strange happens. The market itself comes looking for you. So travel back to the Swiss town of Vevey in the year 1867. There lived a man trained not as a grand food merchant but as a chemist, a careful mixer of substances. For some time, he had been experimenting, combining cow's milk with wheat flour and a little sugar, and processing it all until it was gentle enough for a delicate infant stomach to handle. He called his creation farine lactée, which means, quite simply, flour with milk. And then came the case that changed everything. That autumn, a premature infant close by could tolerate neither its mother's milk nor any other food that anyone offered it. The child was weakening by the day, and the ordinary remedies of the time had utterly failed. There was, by every account, very little hope left at all. And here was the fork in the road. He could keep his little invention exactly where it was, a promising experiment, tested slowly and cautiously over many careful years, before he ever dared to trust it with a real and fragile life. Or he could hand that unproven powder to a dying child, that very day, and stake his whole reputation on whether or not the thing actually worked. He did not wait. The farine lactée was given to the failing infant. The child, who could hold down nothing else in the world, held this down. And against the quiet expectations of nearly everyone, that baby recovered and lived. And then the news simply raced. Word of the little food that had saved a dying child spread through the town, and then far beyond it. Other frightened parents came seeking it. And within roughly a single year, this modest infant food was already being sold across several different countries, its demand climbing far faster than its inventor had ever dared to imagine. Now imagine, instead, that he had treated the whole thing as a mere curiosity, or that this one desperate case had simply never reached his door at all. There would have been no dramatic proof that the powder truly worked, no breathless word of mouth to carry it outward, and very likely no thriving little firm bearing his own name to build an empire upon. The famous nest of birds and the whole identity built around nourishing the young would never have come to be. Condensed milk, no doubt, would have gone on without him, but the giant, quite simply, would not. Because, from that one rescue, and from a later merger that added enormous muscle and reach, there grew the single largest food company anywhere in the world. Today it sells over 2,000 different brands in nearly every country on the planet and on every inhabited continent there is. The coffee in the morning, the chocolate bar, the bottled water, the very food for the newest babies, a colossal empire, and all of it tracing back to one desperate night in a small Swiss town. Now, it is only honest to say the rest of the story is not spotless. A full century after that founding rescue, this very same company became the center of a long and bitter controversy over the way infant formula was marketed to mothers in the world's poorer nations. The founding was a genuine and remarkable act of rescue. The later record is a far more complicated thing. Both of those truths sit side by side, and neither one cancels the other. But look, for a moment, at the pure shape of the beginning. This empire did not open with a sweeping market study or some grand strategic plan to feed the whole world. It opened with a single chemist and a single dying child and one quiet decision to help, right now, before it was too late. Solve one desperate problem completely, and the thousands, in time, will come and find you. So here is the lesson worth keeping. You do not actually need a vast audience in order to begin. What you need is one real person, with one urgent problem, that you and almost nobody else can truly solve. Serve that single person completely and let the rest follow. So ask yourself, honestly, whose one desperate, unsolved problem could you handle so well and so completely that one day the whole crowd comes quietly looking for you